Hello, my lovelies. This is Paisley Wilde, and welcome to the Spaces Between. I am streaming from my living room today, which is kind of an adventure. Something I don't normally do, which I think you guys know. Because yeah, I don't normally do that. And so why am I doing it? Why am I doing a show from my living room? Well, I don't know. As you can see, I am down to one hand. And as I am ambidextrous, that it helps that I am able to do things with both hands. But some things you just sometimes you need two hands. That's just all there is to it. And yes, that's just all there is to it. So I am adventuring here with the solo hand, and I will admit it is a little bit of an adventure. I've done this being out here as I bump. Anyways, so my gear out here is a little more delicate because it's older and it was abused slightly by the kids. Sigh. And oh, I see. There we go. Yes, maybe. I hope you guys can hear me. Um, maybe. I hope. Oh, there I am. Oh, I think I muted myself. There I am. Anyway, so yes, my gear out here is a little more delicate and sensitive, and because kids, grandkids, everybody's had to touch things over the years, and so this is the backup, if you will. So, why am I wearing a padded vest? No, I did not punch Mr. Longbeard or wrangle Mini Me. I promise. Beans did not fight me for dominance. Get out of my coffee plant. Yes, as she looks at me with guilt. No, actually, I had carpal tunnel surgery. Um, I had a bit of an issue that I needed to have released. So that's all that is. That's all that is. I have to wear this thing, and that was yesterday, honestly. And actually, it hasn't been so bad so far. Um, but then this is day one, so I don't know. We'll see. I haven't been online for a couple minutes here. Last week, last week was actually the worst adventure. I'm so ready for this month to be done and over with. You ever get to that point where you're like, you know what? I'm done with this part of my adventure. I am ready to close this chapter of the book and move on to the next. If this is where we're going to be for a little bit, I'm done. Let's write the footnotes. Let's move on. Enough character building. Let's do something different for a little bit. Because whoa, boy, howdy. Um, Last week was kidney stones. Now, one of those things that I have said when people are having a hard time with something, because it happens. I have it, my kids have had it, and my family's had it. Everybody's had a little bit of a problem with something for a little bit, and it's normal. And I will say, this is going to pass. It may pass like a kidney stone, but it'll pass. I am very, very intimately uh, aware of that particular statement now, and I can identify with that particular statement now so much more than I ever could before. And I don't know that I needed to be, but I am, and it's a thing. Um, yeah. Oh my stars! I didn't realize a thing. So, for those of you who have ever had to adventure into an emergency room or into an urgent care or something like that, and you've gone in because of something, and you've gone through to your assigned little cubbyhole or room or whatever, depending on what kind of trauma center you have. And and you hear someone moaning, like, like, dude, are you what's going on in there? Can you help that person over there? Because they need the help more than I need the help. They need something like now, kind of a thing, right? And I I am familiar with that now. I had never understood what that really was. It's a kidney stone, honestly, or something to that effect, because those things are horrible. And well, normally I talk about more spiritual stuff and occasional, I get into some religious stuff, and yes, I talk about a whole variety of things. I know. Normally it's a spiritual thing and magic and the gods and that kind of thing. But no, we're going to talk about some medical stuff because I got to tell you, it is hard being patient when you yourself are the patient. I know, like, if a family member comes up to me and says, "Hey, I have a splinter. Can you help me?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I can help you." And they're like, "Ow, that hurts." It's like, "No, it doesn't. Stop. Doesn't hurt me. It hurts you. I'm sorry, man. That's just the way of it." I get it. I understand. Hmm. So, um, apparently there's like these different stages of kidney stones. And yeah, I'm gonna kind of harp on this one a little bit because as someone who's never actually had a problem with kidney stones, I don't know anyone in my family really has had too many issues with kidney stones. Mm, I've talked to my parents, and they're in their 70s, and they haven't really had a problem either. So, which is cool. It means I'm not genetically predisposed, I guess, to kidney stones. And um, chronic UTIs is something that runs in my mom's family. I guess it's our physical structure. And yay, biology. And so, and and because of that, you can sometimes have uh, um, um, a stone buildup rapidly due to UTIs, which is a thing, I guess, and that's unfortunate, and I feel bad for anybody who's gone through that. And then there's the calcium buildups, and then there's other things, and there's diseases that can cause them, and poor diet, and there's several different things that can cause kidney stones, right? And I'm not going to go into it. I'm not a medical professional. I don't play one on TV. I've mentioned this a few times. I didn't stay at a Holiday Inn or anything like that. So, no, I am not someone who can go into a lot of the whys and wherefores and how to cure a kidney stone, other than apparently if you put lemon in your water or in your tea, apparently lemon juice, specifically lemon juice, is a good preventative for kidney stones. But so, anyways, they grow in your kidneys, and the average kidney stone is not that big. When I say not that big, I'm like less than 3 millimeters. And when I say millimeters, that's not very big, right? So take 2 pennies, yes, 2 pennies, and stack them on top of each other. And here in the U.S., 2 pennies, and 2 pennies stacked up is about apparently um, 3 millimeters. So my kidney stone was 3 millimeters long. So it's about the size of a grain of rice for all practical purposes. If you need an example of what something is a size of, and it was this hard little nasty pain in the butt. Of course, it wasn't smooth like a polished grain of rice. Oh no, no, it was smooth like a piece of coral broken off. Yeah, and so the ureter, which is the part of your body that goes from your kidney to your bladder. And you've got two of them, one from each kidney, right? And is only 1 millimeter in diameter. So that part of your body um, can expand a little bit, yes, but it hurts if it gets expanded too much. And medically, the medical profession will generally allow kidney stones up to 4 millimeters in diameter to pass through the ureter. 4 to 6 millimeters, and they will go up through your urethra and through your bladder and into your ureter, and they will um, expose the kidney stones to sonic vibrations and such to break them up into smaller pieces so they are easier to pass through. And then 6 to 10 millimeters, there it's a orthoscopic surgery. They go in through the back, and then, of course, anything bigger than 10 millimeters, and it is a major surgery. So, yes, I had two stones. One was 3 millimeters, and one was like less, like a millimeter. And so, yeah, Tuesday, I got hit with the 3 millimeter. I was teaching. I thought everything was fine. And I suddenly felt like, about yeah, about this, about 1 o'clock, I felt like, I feel kind of icky. And here's my lower right side. I was like, what is this? There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pain. And I was like, is this a kidney or is this a bladder? Is this a hip? Is this a, wait a minute, this is right side. I was like, pull up, Dr. Google. Is this my appendix? What is this? This doesn't feel good. I don't feel good. And I told Mr. Longbeard, it's like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna go to urgent care after school and get this checked out. And he's like, okay. And then because I was teaching at the high school level, and I'm like, after that period ended, and I'm sitting there and I'm doing my thing with the kids, and it's biology, which is ironic. We're like, I hand out the stuff and we're watching the video that we're supposed to be doing, and I'm like, this is actually getting worse. And am I going to be able to drive if I hang out any longer? Because wow, this is just not pleasant. Um, Not pleasant at all. And so I spoke to the coordinator. I'm like, hey, you know what? Can we have someone just come finish up the class for me? Because I think I gotta go. And so I did. As I'm on my way down to urgent care, fortunately, our urgent care and our ER are in the same building. So, and it's happened to me in the past where I've gone to urgent care and they're like, you know what? You're not in the right place. Actually need to go down the hallway. I'm like, oh, fine, fine, I will go down the hallway. And I did. And well, it was sucky, but what do you do? You just do what you got to do, right? And so here I am just doing my stuff, and I'm on my way. It's like, I think I need to actually go to the emergency room instead of urgent care because wow, I think I need someone with more degrees than and more available supplies than urgent care. So yeah, I went to the emergency room and they're like, "Hey, how can we help you?" I was like, "Well, I'm having abdominal pain and it's like really unpleasant and uncomfortable." And they're like, "Oh, okay. Well, let's get you in." And next 20 minutes later, I was seriously, it was I went from wow, this is kind of uncomfortable to like, "Hey, I think I'm having a problem," to what on earth is this what is happening here, to writhing in pain, like, within an hour and a half. It was just that fast. I couldn't believe it. I really could not believe it. Um, and, I was serious. It was just boom, 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 and suddenly the staff was just really awesome, and they got me hooked up into an IV and got me some medications to mellow out the pain and, relax everything a little bit, and next thing I know, I nodded off a little bit because, pain is exhausting. And I was there for about 3 hours, 4 hours, 4 hours. And in that 4 hour time, I passed the kidney stone. And it was just that fast. And apparently, it can take weeks. I cannot imagine being like that for weeks. Oh, my stars. I feel bad for anybody I have so much empathy, and not bad like, pity or anything like that, no, it's empathy, my dears. Oh, my lovelies. Pure and total empathy. There is that is something no. Nope, 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 nope. Don't wanna ever have to do that ever again, nope. No, because that was the most miserable thing ever, and, man, I yeah, didn't care for it. 0 out of 5 stars, don't recommend. But you know what? They gave me some medications. They said, "Hey, we're worried about a UTI because things have been kind of scratched up on the inside, and the body's not supposed to handle stuff like that, and you know, it's not supposed to be like that." It's like, okay, well, we'll keep an eye out for it and follow up with my primary care, who's pretty flippin' fantastic, and so yeah, we did that and set up the time or the follow up, and um, next thing I know, I'm, I go ahead and go back uh, to school the next day. I mean, that's how fast it was. It really, really was that fast, and it was just really, really blown away by the entire experience, and so unfortunately after that, I go back to school, and you feel bruised afterwards. I'm sorry, you do. And go back to school, do the thing, and um, I am doing fine. And then on Friday, I get out of school. It's an early release day, and uh, I'm home. I'm doing some stuff, and with Mini Me, and I'm like, I'm really not feeling good again. And she's like, oh. And it's like, "Well, this isn't very cool." And it's like, are you okay here on your own for a little bit? I'm gonna go get this checked out." And what do you know? I'm passing the second stone. So yeah. Um, and then I had surgery yesterday. So it was just I'm done with the medical stuff this week, this whole month. Nope, done, ready to move on past all of this. Blah. No. Yeah, it just February is generally a pretty fair month, honestly. I do pretty okay, usually. Um, usually, honestly. And there's generally no problems. Everything is good. But every so often, life happens. And it is hard to be patient when you are the patient. And so I wanted to talk about that. Oh, yes, I'm going on and on and on and playing with my ice bag. Sorry about the noise, guys. But we're sore, and I'm trying to make sure I have my ice on because, of course, reduced swelling helps with the healing because swelling gets in the way. And so at my appointment yesterday for my surgery, which you have to have an IV in because they don't really want you awake when they start working on your arm. And so they had a hard time finding a vein. Well, of course, the only arm they could use was the one that had already been used for everything with my kidney stones. And all my veins are like, no, we don't want to participate. Nope, we're done. Nope, not happening. Not going to do it. You can't make us. And I understand, but at the same time, for crying out loud. So it was just the nurse felt bad because I got poked a couple times, and of course, those needles all sting a lot. They actually really do hurt, and I'm just sitting there taking it because, it's just a needle and it's not like they're there to, hurt you intentionally. And I walked into the building voluntarily. I signed up for the the surgery voluntarily. Um, I could have just lived with the lessening of things, you know, with you know, with my wrist and all of the abilities that you normally have with two hands, and my right hand being my dominant one, being able to do all the things with my right hand. And they kept apologizing. It's like, just chill out. I have deep veins. They like to roll around. They like to do things and be uncooperative. But this is why I don't give blood anymore, is because as much as I would like to, it is hard because I often end up with severe bruising, and it's just frustrating, you know. And we're talking, we're having a good time, and they're like, "You're just so nice about it." It's like, what am I going to do? Yell? And so here I am being the patient, and I'm patient about being the patient because why not? I'm there voluntarily. But, you know, there's been a number of times when I've been in the emergency room or at a doctor's office or a clinic of any kind for various reasons. Well, just various reasons, whether it's for myself or someone else, to pick someone up, to drop someone off. And there's someone there giving the staff what for, whether it is um, they're yelling at them for because they want something they don't deserve, which happens, unfortunately. It happens a lot. Or they are there because they're in pain, which I understand, or for some other reason. And it's really, you know, if you treat the people around you a certain way when you are sick like that, you often receive a different kind of care than you would if you're pleasant. Um, Sadly, I mean, as much as the staff is supposed to be, um, provide the same kind of care to everybody, it's really hard to be as pleasant to someone who's throwing things at you or spitting at you, if you will, as it would be if someone said, "Hey, how's it going?" and being cheerful. We're people are like that. It's like, who would you rather spend time with? Someone who's being nice or someone who's not being nice? Who are you going to prioritize? And it's often a subconscious thing. And a friend of mine has been dealing with someone who's had some medical issues lately. And the individual with the medical issues is often not a very nice person and has become very manipulative in her dotage. And it's really unpleasant to see, and it makes me really sad to hear about um how much the family is being manipulated by and the nursing staff and everybody else because of all of the behavior of this one person who is just so blasted miserable that she can't um be pleasant to anybody. And it's like, if she can't be pleasant, nobody else can be pleasant, if you will. Or if she can't have a good day, nobody else can have a good day. And and it's one of those, if I'm going to be miserable, everybody's going to be miserable. And it's really unfortunate to see that kind of a thing. Um, it's and it makes me sad that someone is like that because we shouldn't be like that as people, you know? Um, as people, we should be just, uh, why not be more accepting of those around us, you know? uh, it's not everybody else's fault that something happened, right? Um, Often, if we break a leg, whose fault is it? Well, often it's just the situation. It's not necessarily somebody's fault, just things happen. Accidents happen. That's why they're called an accident. You can plan for sorry guys, um, the unavoidable or the unplanned, but accidents still happen. That's just and they're called accidents for a reason because you didn't want them to happen. And it's frustrating, and I don't know. I feel bad for the whole family because they're having to put up with this one person who's just being a twit, and they have to put up with this one person, and they're not quite sure what to do. She's of an age where she could go into a retirement home, but she's not quite on Medicare, so that means it'd be all private pay. And because retirement homes are not affordable, what do you do? Um, what do you do? You try to find as many resources as possible, or you just put up with the abuse. I mean, that's what it is. It's verbal abuse. Um, and it's who wants to live like that? And none of us. I mean, so that's where a patient is not being patient and taking it out on everybody else. And so everybody else is like, "Rawr, I'm gonna like, no. Yeah, so that patience, that compassion, that empathy, um, those are just three traits I'm seeing like decrease in the world around us, like exponentially. If there's a bell curve, where, oh, there used to be so much empathy in the world. We're at the bottom of the bell curve or the other side of the bell curve where there isn't, however that works, just sort of the ski slope down. We've slalomed off of the empathy slope. I'm not quite sure there because it's like all of that empathy is like fading from our world. I don't know if it's been um, sunstroked out of us or what, but um, it just doesn't seem to be there. It's like we're not allowing people to just be people and experience their lives as they are. And as a result, we are trying to force them and pigeonhole them into other situations and to our expectations of them or their expectations of us. And we're people. We're we're not gelatinous little blobs that can be forced into a cube or a starfish or whatever. We don't belong in a little cubbyhole somewhere. We need to be allowed to breathe and do our own thing and move around. Um, and so by society demanding that we do things exactly one way or another, or you don't deserve the empathy. No, or you don't deserve the compassion, or you don't deserve the permission to just exist and be yourself. Um, we're losing out on part of our humanity and part of who we are. Um, so part of my healing process here has been and not being able to move around much or do much. I'm not allowed to even touch the dishes for like until my stitches are out, and that's it's gonna be hard. Just saying. Um, so it's like the floors need swept and vacuumed, and my household chores. I have chores that I normally do at home that I'm just so mini me goes, I don't know how those things happen. They just get done. Yes, yes, they do just get done because somebody does them. Mm. And but if I can't just do them, somebody else has to do them. And Deep cleansing breath. That was a shallow one, but yes. Uh, but that empathy, oh my, we have to have that empathy to allow people to be themselves, to express themselves, to be who they are. Um, and and that starts at a very young age. So I've had boys and girls. I have grandsons and granddaughters. I have all of them. Okay. I have nieces and nephews. And I rarely buy gender, I'm using finger quotes here, gender appropriate toys. I like to buy toys that make the mind think, or gifts, I should say, gifts that make the mind think. Interactive things like puzzles, games like board games, or things like that, art supplies, musical instruments, that kind of thing. I am the type of person that if I'm going to give you a gift as a child, it's an interactive one and you're doing something with it. It's not just a entertainment system of some sort. I mean, very, very rarely. I mean, I think I got one for my youngest son when he was like 7, and we played Castlevania on it. I think that's what it was. I mean, it's been a while, a long time, like 25 years ish. So, um, it's just, and I limit screen time at home. When everybody's here, there's limited screen time. We play, if kids are visiting, there's limited screen time. We do interactive games. We play Cluedo on the TV, kind of a thing. I mean, that's what we do. That's what we do. And because I want my family to think, I challenge them to think. I challenge them to interact with one another and to have compassion for one another and to try to respect one another and to see so many people around me not have that kind of drives me nuts. And so when I guess I'm out in public and I see people not being patient, that bothers me. It's like when I go to the pickup line at the pharmacy to get my medications. And I know there's been a long line. And especially if I'm behind someone who's been kind of rude, I walk up and my turn's next. It's like, hey, do you need to take a breath? Get a drink of water? Especially if it's a long line. Get a drink of water. You doing okay? Because one, I've been there. I was a dispute resolution type call center manager. That's what I did. The disputes all came here. And first thing you want to do is, how can I help? How do you diffuse the situation? Well, somebody has to stop and take a deep breath first before they can move on to the next thing. And if one of my employees was having a hard time, it's like, do you need to go to get a drink of water? Do you need to go for a walk, take a breath? Because it's not right to expect people to, have be on all the time and be performing 100% all the time, because we cannot, as normal human beings, be on all of the time, right? It's just not. That's not normal, people. It really is not. We are not made that way. We just aren't. We need downtime. We need to have transition time. And to be able to be positive all the time is just not a thing. So we need to have compassion for those people that need to have a moment to put themselves back together and not hold it against them. That's the other thing. If someone has a moment where they kind of snap and like, rawr, 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 it happens. Don't hold it against them. Because, yes, it really does happen. And um, as I say, "rawr," I get company. Um, Something that happens when I'm on the couch, I have extra help on the phone, on the phone, on the camera. Yes, this is Mr. Milo. So it's just, have compassion for people. You don't know what they're going through. You don't know what they're dealing with. Nobody knew that I was going to have 2 kidney stones last week. Nobody knew on, Wednesday or Thursday that I had bruising through my abdomen because I had kidney stones, and the idea of being touched in the abdomen or pushed into the abdomen would make me kind of grouchy because it hurt. Nobody knew. I knew, but I wasn't advertising it because why would I? That's my business. Um, and for those that out there that are dealing with stuff and dealing with those people that are just angry people and have to shove their anger into and onto you, that's their wet blanket to carry around. If they That's their Linus. That's not their whoopee, that's their Linus. They're just dragging around an angry, sad, wet blanket, and it's sad, you know. Okay, you guys. Nope. Now I have 2 dogs on me. No, we're not gonna play. No, we're not gonna play. That's the joys of having a little dog that wants to play and a big dog that wants to play. They think they have to do it on your lap. Um, so compassion. Even when you're not being patient because you're the patient, yeah, sometimes it's hard, and I get it because I've been there. I've worn the T-shirt. I've got the T-shirt. I've thrown it away. I've washed it. Because I had to get a new one. That the whole 9 yards. It is hard, and I get it. Totally get it. So when when you're in those situations, though, please remember, have compassion. And if you can't have the compassion, ask yourself why not. Why aren't you having compassion for those around you? If you're the one being the wet blanket, if you're the angry person, why? Why are you so angry that you have to take your anger out on everyone else? Sorry, I'm listing. My ice bag melted slightly, so I started listing. But yeah, why are you so angry that you have to be angry at everybody else? I mean, that's actually a really good question. Why? Why are you angry? Why are you taking it out on other people? Do you know? Do you not know? Because those are good questions. I would like to think you would know, right? You should know, right? Maybe. Um, so as we go through our lives and we do our things and we experience the people around us, what's going on? You know, sure, I know there have been a lot of things happening lately in our world that can cause anger and frustration. And I know, like, geopolitically, for instance, there's a lot going on, and it makes people feel helpless and they want to lash out as a result. And I get it. Um, but why? Why would you do that? Because often the people around you are like-minded, similarly minded, or they're your friends and family and have compassion for you too. And you guys should be able to have a decent conversation about whatever's on your mind rather than arguing. Um, you would think, although our own family, personally, some of those angry people had to be um, left in the background a bit more. Because, sometimes you do need to set that baggage down and walk away. It's not yours to carry. That is not your wet blanket to take and put in the laundry and wash because it isn't. It's not your baggage. And if it's, excuse me, not your baggage, don't pick it up. No one can force you to pick it up. And if you have the opportunity to set it down, do so. And if it requires a little bit of therapy, great, do it. There are many avenues for therapy these days, whether it's in person or online. Um, I know people who do it via, phone even, and I wouldn't have thought that over the phone would be this as good, but maybe it is. The online stuff is actually pretty okay. Um, face to face, like I'm doing right now through Rumble and YouTube and Twitch and Facebook and, you know, all the different things. Because, hey, I can see who's on air sometimes, but you guys can see me. And if you send me an email at wildpaisley@gmail.com, I get it. And I can respond and we can talk about things if you need a one to one kind of a conversation, because we can. Or if it's something you want to talk about on air because you think somebody else might have a similar question, we can do that too, whether it's spiritual or, related to one of the gods or just something else. And is honestly, I've become more willing to try to answer questions for anybody than anything else. With my kids, I always warned them, if you're old enough to ask me the question, you're really old enough um, to get the answer. And so be careful what you ask. And my one of my boys, he said the price of a question is the answer, because sometimes you get the answer that you didn't know you needed or that you wanted, and that's just kind of the way of it. So I don't know what to tell you on that one. They do happen. Um, and so I guess in all of this, my own health journey, last couple weeks, I had to remember my patients, even though um, when I was at the emergency room for my kidney stones, all I wanted was, take away the pain. Sometimes the best way to handle pain is just to voice it, make the noise. Don't bottle it up. Don't keep it inside. And that's not just physical pain, guys. And gals, that is pain. Sometimes we bottle up the emotion and the feelings and the things to the point where it makes us sick. And I'm listening again. And you know what? And that makes it worse, because then not only are we feeling all the things, but then we're sick on top of it, which is ridiculous. So instead, let it out. I'm not saying gossip or anything like that, or talk about someone behind their back, because that's bad. That's not what we want to do. Uh, I- no. Instead, either talk to the person directly if you can, therapist, spiritual leader, or advisor, that kind of thing. Um, your, you know, your circle, your person, whomever your significant other is, you should be able to have a conversation with them. Unless, of course, they are the problem, then sometimes you just need to bite the bullet and talk to them. I know it's hard. You're looking at it right here. I get it. Sometimes journal it. Express the emotion, express the pain, express it. Don't hold it in, because it'll fester like an open wound, and it'll get infected, and it'll be bad, and nobody wants that. Nobody wants you to feel that way. N- Um, Not really. I mean, seriously. And if you do feel that way, there are resources available. Don't get to the point where you feel like there's no way out, because there is. Have the conversation. Let it out. You'll feel better for it. And if it's a physical pain, yeah, sometimes you just gotta l- holler. That's why even women in labor, no matter how many drugs, sometimes, yep, they do scream and holler, because that happens. Um, in martial arts, have you noticed that when during the different katas, they're upon impact or doing whatever, they're saying the they're making noise. They're not just silently out there doing things, right? They're not just going through the motions and just, oh, hey, I'm going through the motions. I'm a silent dancer. No, they're voicing things, because the voice can also express the energy of the motion. So by doing that, you're adding an extra element to what's happening. So yeah, express yourself. And so when when someone is going through the things, allow them to express the energy. And I've gotten to the point now where if someone is talking to me and they're talking about something as a friend rather than in a session like a spiritual session or something like that, if a friend is saying talking to me, I'm like, are you asking for advice or are you just needing to let some energy off? Because then I know how to listen better and it makes me a better listener. And if you can ask that question, that'll make you a better listener and it'll make you more patient with whatever they're saying. Because if you're just listening and you're like, oh, I know how to fix this, and I'm going to give them the advice to fix it, you're not listening to hear them, you're listening to speak, which is not what they want. They're needing to be heard because that's what they need. And if that's what they need, then that's what they need more than to have a fix. Because sometimes their fix is already there. They just need to express themselves. And I know it. So, anyways, um, I just patience and empathy and let it out. Don't bottle it up. Bottling up that energy when you're feeling that strong raw emotions, whether it's journaling or the therapy. I'm telling you, journaling is good too. Sometimes, and I know people will do this, they'll the person that they need to talk to or they're having the problems with, they'll journal the entry like they're talking to the person. It's like, dear so and so, today you made me feel this way, and I really needed to express myself in such a way to you how this made me feel, and I don't know how to do that. So this is what I'm trying to say or wanted to say to you, but I wasn't able to say. And I understand that it's hard sometimes to do that, but it can also be the best thing you can do. So on that note, my ice pack isn't really doing the trick anymore. And I can tell that all of my medication from this morning is kind of wearing off. So ready for the next dose. And Mini Me will be home shortly from Marimba. And so, anyways, just I wanted to touch in, say hi. Remember, you can always email me at Paisley. Um, so I'm Paisley Wilde. So the email is wildpaisley@gmail.com. That's WILDEPAISLEY@gmail.com. Um, and I do like the emails. And if you see me on Facebook, you can always hit me up there, send me a message or whatever. And you like, subscribe, do all the things, boost. There's so many different things you have to do to different social channels anymore. Oh boy. But yeah, remember, add a little lemon to your water or your tea. Actually, tastes kind of good. Try the butterfly tea. That's actually really good. With a little bit of lemon. It's even fun. Your kids will drink it too. Green tea in it and with some antioxidants. Love those. Um, sometimes the things we got to do is actually just be healthier in general. So I'm kind of glad that I'm well into my 50s now, and these are my first kidney stones ever. Hopefully, these are my last kidney stones ever because I don't want them ever again. And hopefully, the surgery I had will do exactly what I needed it to do, and I won't need to have another one ever again. Wouldn't that be fantastic? That'd be two thumbs way up. So yeah, I can work. I can do it. But that's about all I'm supposed to do. I can't pick up anything heavier than an empty coffee cup. Why pick up an empty coffee cup? They're supposed to be full, right? Anyways, thanks for joining me today and listening to me ramble on about being patient. And, remember, have compassion, tip your server. I'll be here all night. Apparently, I'm supposed to take it easy for a while, and type one-handed. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. So I hope you guys have a great day. And enjoy the end of February. And I hope your March comes in just as meek and mild as it possibly can be and is good for you. But I will talk to you next time. This is Paisley Wilde. Merry meet and merry part, and then merry meet again. And I will talk to you guys next time. Doing the things, I promise. Just a little slower with the offhand here, guys. Oh, boy. I need an extra. Have a good night.